December 13th, 2001. Break time, 500 miles. A radio intercept, 10 meters. Delta Force locked. They drove up the mountain. They passed Afghan militia heading down. Nobody asked why. The kill chain. At the kill chain, we dissect decisions. Today, Tora Bora. By morning, the most wanted man crossed into Pakistan. 3 decisions, 3 men, 3 rooms made his walk possible. The Senate report was not classified, published in 2009. Every CIA request, every denied authorization, in print. Return to that report later. First, how we got here. Pre-9/11 America ended September 11th 977 dead. Operation Enduring Freedom begins October 7th. Taliban collapses fast. 300 Special Forces, Northern Alliance, 1,000 air sorties. The collapse validated one doctrine, the light footprint. Secretary Rumsfeld's framework, minimum American forces, maximum local proxy. Mazar-i-Sharif, Kabul, Kandahar, all fell within 60 days. By November, Taliban retreated east into mountains they owned. Schroen arrived first. Bernson then took command of Jawbreaker. Bernson's Jawbreaker, 10 CIA officers and 1 SOFLAM laser. Tora Bora spans 6 by 6 miles, peaks of 14,000 feet. Originally expanded with CIA money. 1979, the Soviet-Afghan War. The CIA funded the infrastructure that later hid bin Laden. Al-Qaeda, up to 20 fighters entrenched in cave positions. Coalition forces, 70 Delta operators. 52 British SBS and 500 Afghan Eastern Alliance fighters. Loyalties divided. Hazrat Ali commanded one faction. Haji Zaman commanded the other. Zaman returned from Paris exile. His men built Al-Qaeda's bunkers. They fought in fortifications their own hands had built. Before shot fired, command structure held a fault. Bernson documented it in field reports back to Langley. His solution, 800 Rangers. Request filed December, honest. General Tommy Franks commanded CENTCOM from Tampa, Florida, 4,000 miles away, receiving Bernson's request by cable. Franks later wrote, Pakistan had been asked to intercept him. Musharraf committed Pakistani Frontier Corps to seal the passes. The unstated rationale, concern about light footprint doctrine. The Senate found this. Franks failed to deploy sufficient forces. Malcasian's 2021 Oxford analysis adds context. Franks' memoir omits. 800 Rangers sat at Kandahar, fueled, armed. The order to fly never came. Rangers never left Kandahar. You are General Tommy Franks. December honest 2001. Bernson wants 800 Rangers to block mountain passes into Pakistan. Musharraf assures you Pakistan will seal the border. Deploying Rangers risks alienating Afghan allies. Taliban propaganda. One intelligence officer's cable. What is your decision? Franks denied it. The sources disagree on precisely why. His memoir claims Pakistan was the answer. The Senate disagrees. Commander memoirs written years later carry distortions of hindsight. Bombing continued. November 30th, air campaign on Tora Bora. December thread. Hazrat Ali launched his first uncoordinated attack. Al-Qaeda fired from superior positions. Ali's men were driven back. 3 days of assault. Minimal penetration into cave complex. December 8th. Task Force 11 Delta arrived under Major Greer. Greer, later Dalton Fury, assessed the terrain carefully. His 2008 account remains the most detailed operator-level record. December 9th. The Daisy Cutter dropped. 15 pounds. Milawar Valley. Psychological effect was enormous. Direct kill on leadership, unconfirmed. Bin Laden had a dream. A scorpion. He abandoned it. This comes from Al-Qaeda accounts. US intelligence has not confirmed. We flag it interesting if true, entirely unverified. December 10th. Ground assault began. Jackal team advanced with Alliance. Combat controller O'Keefe directed strikes using the SO-Flam laser. Bombs struck cave entrances. Al-Qaeda held. They owned this terrain. What Americans lacked, blocking positions. Every valley exit stayed open. Intelligence flagged the Parashna corridor specifically. Document escape route. Benson's memoir records. Route was known. No cordon was placed. CIA forced removal of sensitive material from Benson's manuscript. What remains still damns the Rangers' denial, per Birkin's analysis. December 10th into 11th. Delta Force pushed through the night. Radio intercepts placed bin Laden alive, still directing fighters. Then December 12th. Zaman made a call nobody had anticipated. Zaman announced ceasefire negotiations. Al-Qaeda had accepted surrender terms. No American officer consulted. None had agreed to this ceasefire. American officers reported Afghan fighters drew weapons on US soldiers. The ceasefire lasted 12 hours. Fighting halted entirely. Now consider the enemy's perspective at this precise moment. Bin Laden's radio was active. Voice intercepted on December 13th. He called for retreat, organizing bodyguards, directing the withdrawal. This was not a rout. Benson documents organized deliberate movement. Al-Qaeda paid in advance. Local Pashtun guides were hired. The Parashina corridor had centuries of use. CIA knew. CIA analysis. Impossible to seal without battalion-level blocking forces. Battalion-level forces were available, sitting idle at Kandahar. Pakistan's frontier corps supposed to seal the border, inadequate. CIA drone footage documented Pakistani soldiers accepting payment from Al-Qaeda. Confirmed in CIA accounts, not rumor. Documented drone evidence. Bin Laden funded local tribes for years before the battle. Returned to December 13th. Intercept, 10 meters. Delta racing up. Militia came the other direction. Ali's men heading down. No one stopped the column. No one demanded an explanation. By the time anyone asked, the target had already moved. The December 13th intercept, highest confidence bin Laden location ever. Intelligence chose not to deploy forces to cordon him in. December 14th. JSOC meeting, no large US footprint, confirmed. The doctrine that won Afghanistan was now killing the manhunt. The self-defeating success, light footprint validated far too prematurely. Zaman's ceasefire was cultural obligation under Pashtunwali, not treason. Under Pashtunwali, a host must warn a guest before attack. Benson understood. CENTCOM commanders 4,000 miles away did not. American commanders who understood Afghan tribal dynamics were overruled. December 14th into 15th, every thread converged on one outcome. The flanking force had not arrived. Reserve was fully committed. Delta proposed assassinating both warlords. That request was denied. The original mission, capturing Al-Qaeda leadership, remained active. The mechanism to achieve it had been denied repeatedly. December 15th, Delta pressed Americans to advance through the night. Ali's men advanced. They found empty cave positions, equipment abandoned. The withdrawal was organized. Al-Qaeda moved during the ceasefire. December 16th, 2001, bin Laden crossed into Pakistan on foot, accompanied by bodyguards, local Pashtun guides, paid in advance. The route used for centuries, invisible to air surveillance. December 17, 2001, Ali's forces captured the last cave complex. Delta Force operators began interrogating prisoners immediately. Same question from every prisoner: where is bin Laden? Every prisoner gave the same answer: he left days ago. December 17, 2001, the last cave at Tora Bora fell. Delta operators interrogated prisoners, reviewed all abandoned materials, Every prisoner interrogated gave the same answer. He left Tora Bora several days ago. Bin Laden was already across the Pakistani border on foot. The battle was over. The manhunt had failed. November 30th, 2009. 8 years later, Senate issued its verdict. Tora Bora revisited. How we failed to get Bin Laden. 4 words. The Pentagon avoided 8 years within our grasp. The report attributed failure to Rumsfeld and Frank specifically. Failed to deploy forces. Relied on militia of uncertain commitment. Conclusion was precise. Attribution was specific. Apologies were absent. Coalition casualties, 5 killed. Al-Qaeda, estimated 200 to 300. Bin Laden lived in Pakistan 9 years. Abbottabad compound. Not in a cave 40 miles from Islamabad, suburban. May 20, 2011. Operation Neptune Spear. SEAL Team 6, 9 years after Tora Bora. The declassified record is unambiguous. The Doctrine consequence, JESIC expanded dramatically after the battle. More SEALs, more Delta, more Rangers, new Doctrine written. What lesson did commanders take? The foundational shift. The Iraq kill-capture tempo from 2004 traces to this failure. The CIA drone program expanded. The legal framework adapted. 20 years, $2 trillion, 2,000 American dead. The Senate report cannot prove one decision caused all this. Malkasian cautions against single-cause analysis. Historians still disagree. Bergen argues Rangers would have changed the outcome. Others disagree. Evidence is clear. Routes were known. Forces were available. Specific people made the decision. For specific reasons. On record, with hindsight, the hardest lesson from the Tora Bora record. Good doctrine at wrong moment becomes a failure mechanism. Light footprint won Afghanistan. Same doctrine then, lost Bin Laden. Tora Bora directly led to rewriting Special Operations Command doctrine. The Senate report is the most complete public accounting available. Greer's account, Bernsen's account, Senate conclusions, all in print. Was this failure inevitable or avoidable? Tell us in comments. Full tactical breakdown pinned in the comments.